Now that we've learned about transformations for graphing functions, let's practice with example 1 and example 2 here. In example 1, we're to use the parent function f of x equals the absolute value of x, the absolute value function, and now we want to graph g of x, which is a transformation of that function. So what we want to do is take the points we would graph for this and transform them to graph this. So let's look at what the transformations are that we see here. The first one I see, there's a negative there, so that's a vertical flip or reflection. And if I flip vertically, I'm changing the sign on my y values, or I'm going to multiply, I'm going to just put MLT, y by -1. That'll change my y, the signs of my y values. Number 2, vertical, the 2 is on the outside, so it's a vertical, and it's a 2, so it's a stretch. Now I'll multiply y by 2. That's what I'm trying to write, M-U-L-T, just to abbreviate multiply. Okay. All right. The third one I see here, inside the function, is a horizontal shift. Which direction? Left. Yeah, left 1. So I'm going to subtract, S-U-B, 1 from x. That'll shift it left. And 4 down 3, right? A vertical shift. And I'm going to subtract 3 from y. So let me get my points here. The points we would graph on the parent function for the absolute value, I've been using what? -2, 1, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And so that'd be 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, right? So each one of these, the x's, let's see what we're going to do to x. The only thing we're going to do is subtract 1 from x. And to get g of x for our new y values, we're going to multiply by -1 and by 2, so essentially multiply by -2, and then subtract 3. So for every x, our new x is what we say, x minus 1. For every y, our new y is -2 times y and then -3. So let's get the x's. Subtract 1. So -2 minus 1, -3, -1 minus 1, -2, 0 minus 1, -1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 2 minus 1 is 1. Now to transform our y values for these ordered pairs, we'll take -2 times 2 and get -4, minus 3, -7. -2 times 1 is -2, minus 3, -5. -2 times 0 minus 3, -2 times 1 minus 3 would be -5, and -2 times 2 minus 3, -7. All right, so now we'll graph. This is our transformed function to g of x. So let's plot -3, -7, -2, -5, -1, -3, 0, -5, and 1, -7. And so I hope what you see here is our absolute value function, the graph, has actually flipped vertically. Okay, so flipped over vertically. It has stretched a bit. That may be a little harder to see, but it's not quite as flat as this. It's vertically stretched, like maybe pulled the branches a little closer together, vertically stretched a little bit, and we have shifted to the left and we have shifted down. Okay, let's try another one of those using the square root function. what do we see here? There's only two transformations. One inside, that affects the x's. One outside, that affects the y's. Okay, so the one on the outside is a vertical. Because it's outside, it's vertical. Compression that says multiply y by 1/2. And the only other thing is a horizontal shift. Which direction? To the left. I'll just write that left 1. So that means we'll subtract 1 from x. Okay? So our original points we would use on the parent function. Of course, we have to choose either 0 or perfect squares. And we get 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is our original graph. These are the points on there. Now, we want to transform them. What are we going to do? For each x, what has to happen? For each new x, maybe, just to make that clear, each new x, we're going to use x minus 1. For each new y, it's just 1/2 times y. Okay, so x and g of x. All right. 0 minus 1 is -1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 9 minus 1 is 8. Now the y coordinates for that. 1/2 of 0 is 0. 1/2 of 1 is 1/2. 1/2 of 2 is 1. 1/2 of 3 is 3/2, or 1/2. Let's graph this. -1, 0. 0, 1/2. 3, 1. And 8, 1.5, right? So here's our g of x. So what has happened? We said there'd be a vertical compression. So what we see is that original graph looks like vertically it's been smashed a little bit, compressed. That's what we mean by that. By changing the y values by 1/2, that compressed it. And then, of course, we shifted the whole thing left 1.